Hello, congratulations for the last speakers in the Sagrada Familia, in the another room. Very special the conference, and very good moderators. Thank you. And now we have a quality of life today and tomorrow, and the presentation is here like me, Dr. Stewart Rush and Jibril Ashad is from UK. Dr. Stewart Rush is a consultant pediatric neuropsychologist working in neurology and metabolic conditions at the Department of Pediatric Psychosocial Service at Royal Manchester Children's Hospital in United Kingdom. Dr. Rush received his doctorate in clinical psychology from the University of Manchester and his postgraduate diploma in pediatric clinician neuropsychology from Nottingham University, United Kingdom. In United Kingdom, Dr. Rush has worked within Royal Manchester Children's Hospital for 20 years with experience in metabolic conditions, particularly in mucopolysaccharidosis or MPS. And Jibril is 31 years old, graduate from the University of Manchester with very good qualification. Live with MPS 4 type A, Morchio, and has hobbies include cycling, sailing, computer, gardening, and stand-up comedy. Please, when you would like, you can start your presentation. Thank you.
Hi, welcome from me and hopefully from Jibril as well. So I'm Stuart Rust, neuropsychologist at Royal Manchester Children's Hospital. I can't believe it's been 20 years either since I've been there, at which point I expect the chat to be flooded with loads of messages saying, Stu, I can't believe it either, you look so young. So I'm just trying to advance the slide. Oh, come on. Oh, it doesn't seem to be happening. Can someone move the slide or give me control? It says I've got control. Is it moved? Okay, thank you. Great. So I've got the control finally. So I'm going to talk to you about quality of life, and I'm going to be really clinical and boring and there we go. Just our disclosures. From me, I've received honoraria and speaker fees from Takeda, Sanofi, MPS Societies, Orchard, Avrobio, VitaFlow. It sounds like a lot, but really it's not loads. And Jibril, do you want to do your disclosures?
Yeah, I'm Jibril. I have spoken for various MPS societies, the odd drug company, just be an advocate and educate people. So that's me.
Thank you. So quality of life, I'm talking to you about this, and great, they've put it to me at the last session to talk about quality of life. What a tricky concept to evaluate in 25 minutes or less with room for questions. And when they first asked, I was like, no, not quality of life. What does it mean? Whose quality of life? What are we talking about? You know, I'm sitting here in Manchester on a really sunny day. Trust me, in Manchester, super rare. And, you know, I'm talking to all you lot on the internet, pretty amazing. But would my quality of life be better if I was actually in Barcelona? Hell yeah. So when we think about quality of life for people with chronic conditions, we think about all sorts of things, and we have to really be more wider in what we understand and what quality of life really means. So I'm going to hopefully elaborate a bit more. So of course, the quality of life term means it's a multidimensional concept. It typically includes subjective assessments of both positive and negative aspects of life. You know, what people evaluate is important to them and sensible and meaningful to them in their life. And this is a WHO definition. And we've got some other ideas. And individuals or groups perceived physical and mental health over time. The concept of health-related quality of life specifically comprises those areas of quality of life that can be shown to affect health, physical, mental, emotional, and social functioning. Chris Hendricks said that. So if Chris Hendricks said that, who am I to argue? Of course, Chris knows what he's talking about. But they're kind of dry concepts, aren't they? And they're difficult perhaps to elaborate. And we know as well, when we think about MPS conditions, that many people with MPS have cognitive challenges additionally on top of their physical health conditions. So how does this impact on cognitive life? We know that many people with MPS 2 and 3 have cognitive regression. Of course, that massively changes your experience of life. And even without regression, there are still cognitive difficulties and challenges. Even the attenuated forms can show some difficulty related to condition, and I'm probably going to offend Jabril now, but you know, Jabril's got top degree, but if you live a life with a chronic condition in MPS 4, is your neurodevelopment typical? Is your life the same as other people's? Who says it's the same? How do we measure it? What's the yardstick for a comparison of that? It's a really difficult, embedded, and multifactorial concept. It's pretty confusing, isn't it? And we know that many people with MPS conditions have real challenges with disability or being differently abled in their life. And we know that the more challenges you have, the more challenges there are in your quality of life generally. And we know that it's negatively affected. There's loads of evidence, eons of evidence to show that patients and caregivers have problems with pain, mobility, and psychological issues being significant concerns for lots and lots of people. So that sounds fun, doesn't it? And Chris has even helped us with a nice model about how all these things can sort of multifactorially combine and add. And it's kind of a multiplicative idea, not simply additive, that, you know, all the different challenges from all the multi-systemic aspects of MPS disorders can impact on you in different ways. And all of them combine to make your health-related quality of life more impaired, more challenged, more difficult. Going forward. What does it really mean to children and young people with MPS conditions? So Jib, what do you think about this? So Jibril's really kind and spoke to some other of his mates to think about what it really means. I'll hand over to you.
Thank you. So let's see what people with MPS really think about quality in life and stuff. And am I lucky or unlucky to be part of these groups? I'm not really sure, but I spoke to a few of these people and just wanted to know what they want. And honestly, the stuff, you can read this here. I'm not gonna lecture to you. It's the underlying message here is that we just want to be human. All the stuff that we have that we want to do, it's just human. A 24-year-old with MPS wants to do the same stuff that a regular 24-year-old wants to do. And it's like things like what medicines can I get depending on where I live? What adaptations can I get? Can I get marinara for my health? You know, it's things like that.
And so, yeah, thanks, Jib. And so we have all these kind of dry definitions about things that we think are important when assessing quality of life. But how many quality of life questionnaires can measured what your job is and how much you earn in your job? How many quality of life measures measure how adapted your house is and how successful you've applied to your local council or your mentor or whatever in getting your home adapted? And, you know, how often do we ask people about, are you happy with your sex life and sexuality and expression and partnership status? That these things are what people really are concerned about in quality of life. And while all those kind of dry clinical definitions are really important, actually how meaningful are they to real people on the ground every day? And how do we measure them effectively so that we can get some metric of showing that things are changing and improving and making them better for people with MPS conditions? And you know, we were going to do something different where Jib was going to kind of stand behind me and mouth off bit. We've had to be in different rooms, but you know, we as researchers in the field, we've really got to look at ways about making these things real and meaningful and actually relate to people's real lived experience. And that's really difficult because, you know, what I might like as a 24-year-old, what Jib might like as a 24-year-old will probably possibly different things. We don't know. And it's a bit of a difficult yardstick to hold up to situations. So I'll go to the next one. And this is outside the UK as well. Remember, we're all talking in a European perspective, and I'm still European. And we're thinking about things in advanced health economies with our established healthcare systems. But what about outside the UK? What about in wider Europe? Jib, this is you again.
And this is just a group of people that I've found who happen to be in Europe, and they just want their stuff to be normalized. They just want people to know about them. It's the same problems all over the world. It's all right having Stuart and the MPS doctors knowing most of the things about their condition, but the first person you see is not an MPS specialist. It's someone in an office who gets excited that you brought me something new, or doesn't get excited that you brought me something new and then just gets completely lost on Google.
Yeah.
I have had general doctors spending half an hour Googling whether my condition has any links with antibiotics.
Wow, really?
Considering it was supposed to be a 10-minute GP appointment, yeah.
Oh, awkward.
Yeah, or I just wanted something to take the pain out of my leg.
Yeah. So you'd hope we're moving beyond that, but you can see there's still problems even within Europe about the general understanding, ownership, identity, and recognition of living with a different condition and owning it really, and being part of everyday society and wanting regular societal expectations and opportunities. And so we've got a little bit of work to do to still kind of get there and improve and uplift people's lived experience to make it more real. And again, we talk about quality of life, and we remember it isn't just, of course, patients living with MPS. It affects the system around them. You know, that it involves carers and partners and sometimes children as well. And people have lifelong conditions, need people around them sometimes to care and support them. And actually, we know that physical exhaustion, psychological distress, poorer social well-being, and the impact of lifestyle changes on relationships, and even the ability to work, to go to appointments, and for Jib to get the job of his dreams and to be a famous stand-up comedian, would be really, it can be sometimes a bit more challenging. And again, uncertainty. We talked a bit in a different session I did earlier this weekend about, we always think of science as the progress from uncertainty to certainty, but actually, as this couple of years has shown us, there aren't always the certainties we think that there are in the world. And having a complex condition means that living with the condition, the uncertainties surround it, the progressive life-limiting nature and concurrent losses which families face can maintain and exacerbate these challenges, that we don't live with the same certainties. And this is written by a lovely trainee of mine who's going to be qualifying in October, and I'm soon bringing her into the field, some new blood to take us all forward and keep pushing the agenda. So what do we have to do next? And we know that people with MPS have a substantial loss of health-related quality of life, and their families take a remarkable part in their care as well. Again, in another session I did, we talked about how the families contribute and support everybody so much with MPS. Hopefully, if you've got a nice family on your side. And there are really big costs for you as well. So we've got health and social care to support people, but actually these impact really, really greatly on families, and often could be increased cause of poverty and distress. And we know there are big societal costs as well in all the countries that Pentec studied, for example. A couple of times in other talks, people have asked me about the future, and we know that treatments are changing all the time. We know they've got stem cell technology, and it's amazing and it's transformative and it's made things different. We know there are hopefully new treatments coming online, and I work with some studies looking at some of those things. It's a really exciting time, and are we going to move towards antenatal diagnosis, which I know happens in some places in the world, and there's new methods of delivering. And again, I talked about uncertainty to certainty, and it isn't so clear cut, but science is really moving forward. It feels like an exciting time to be working in this field, but When is it going to be applied to people? When is it going to be widely available? What is going to happen when and how? And you know, what are the time frames for this? What does it look like for people? And we don't know yet. And so it's still really unclear. And imagine how frustrating it's like the carrot being dangled right in front of your nose. Oh, just right now, just right now, just 5 minutes, just 5 minutes, just 5 minutes. When I started as a trainee psychologist a million years ago, the hospital told us, oh, don't get settled here. We're going to move to the new hospital soon. And in fact, it ends up moving 10 years later. So for 10 years, we had this hanging over us. But actually, we live with a chronic condition. How that kind of tension is ratcheted up all the time. The next thing, the next thing, the next thing. And the constant provision and dashing of hopes for families and parents must be exhausting all the time. And again, what does it really mean? As I talked about that. So we've got these new treatments, but actually we mustn't forget about the people who are still living with the condition. We mustn't forget that while these new treatments are exciting, the chances are they're not always going to be applicable to people who are currently living with the conditions. And we've still got to make sure we look at improved treatments to support those guys and make them feel stronger and healthier and have better, longer lives. And again, you know, we're sitting here all in our Wi-Fi, and we've all been really I was really stressed last Thursday when my Wi-Fi went down in my house. Like, no, not now. It can't happen now with this conference coming up. But it came back and it was okay. We get stressed about Wi-Fi, and this is in civilized Northern Europe. But actually, what about the rest of the world? What about the wider context? What about other people in countries around the world without advanced healthcare systems, where treatments are so expensive and unaffordable? Again, we mustn't forget that the treatments don't just apply, hopefully, to this country. We've got to think about wider societal situations as well, wider opportunities, and how we can spread the love. Really, God, if we learn nothing from the vaccine, we learn we're not sorted till everyone's sorted. So we've got to support everybody everywhere else as well. And what can we do? And then, you know, this is always a plea from me, really, about wider recognition of difference and support for people who live with difference. I really wish that we'd all be better at owning our difference, though, that when we kind of come out with our disorders and our difference and we own about it, and we have people on soap operas and telenovelas and whatever, that actually highlighting difference, but also sameness is really important. All the children and young people I work with always are so desperate to be the same as everybody else until they get a bit older and they realize being different is fantastic, and who wants to be the same as all the other people. But we got to think about how we support society and make it better. And we know, and again, we learned from some of the videos I don't know if you saw in the session I did on Friday, that the people who do the best, and Jib will perhaps want to speak on this a little bit as well, the people who do the best make MPS part of their life. It isn't all of your life. It isn't only the thing you are. It is part of the fantastic thing that you are, part of the amazingness that makes you the only you in the world, unless of course you're an identical twin, but you're the only you. And even if you're twins, you're a bit different. You know, MPS should be part of your life, a facet of your life, but something you can build life around to keep being rich and vulnerable and interesting and different and yourself. And I did a quote as well about being the youest you the other day. And we know there's loads of things to go. And the MPS societies and drug companies and health service and patients and even aging Mancunian psychologists worldwide have lots to do to support, to understand and to further the agenda of people living with the condition and keep pushing the science. And Jib, what do you think about the future and the community?
I think the future is really bright, and things will develop. They always do, but it's like you said, Stu, don't forget about some of us older guys. Gene therapy is brilliant. Yeah, you're gonna get people to not need to be stabbed every week for an enzyme, but that's not going to help someone who's in their 30s or 40s. Someone
I can't believe you're 30.
Neither can I sometimes. It feels like yesterday I was seeing Ed Wraith down at Pendlebury. It's one of those things. You work for everybody. Treat us like we're human.
Great. So thanks for that. That's the end of my presentation. Some references there as well. And I'm going to hand over to Jib now, because he's going to do you're going to do your bit, are you?
I think I've pretty much filled in most of what we were doing on that side. I just want to say thank you guys for inviting us. This has been a conference that I've kind of enjoyed, and it's the first time that in 16 months I've had to do one of these while wearing trousers.
I have got shorts on. I'm not wearing trousers, but I've got shorts on because it is hot. So now I think there's some time for some questions and answers, Tori. If there are any questions, we're more than happy to. We're both online and we're happy to chat. Oh, I like this. I like the 3-header.
Okay, thank you for your presentation. Thank you, Jibril. Thank you, Dr. Ras. It's very important the situation and understand very well the situation of the patients of every day, day to day, and work in different aspects. Is correct. Jibril, I think that I don't know what is the future of these diseases, but I think that the more good is to have positive illusions, positive aspect, and to work every day for the change the situation and have very good life. Okay. Congratulations, Jibril, for your work every day. Is very positive. And do you think that it's possible to have another treatments in your life? Do you think?
I think it's definitely very possible to have good times ahead, and I agree with the working, but the problem a lot of us have is we need to stay happy, and it can be very difficult to stay happy with everything that's going on.
Yeah.
I've always said I go through spells where sometimes nothing works, everything I do fails, and the only way out of that cycle is to just do something that works. Something will just, and the whole situation will get better.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, for our quality of life, do everything you can to keep us happy. Don't make us fight for healthcare, for medicines, for recognition.
Yes, it's very positive. And Dr. Rush, what is your opinion of these patients for to have a very good day to day and work in positive?
Well, the things we talked about in the presentation about having roomy hatchbacks, driving, going outside, doing stuff. It's a tricky time now for everybody, isn't it? It's a really funny old time, because if it wasn't this time, we'd all be in Barcelona living the high life, and that would make my quality of life better. Wouldn't it make yours better,
Yeah.
Jib? You'd feel better, Jib, in Barcelona, wouldn't
Yeah, I would love to be somewhere that's not my own house doing stupid things.
you? Exactly.
Oh,
I've done all the stupid things at home.
There are no more stupid things left to do.
I'm sure I'll find something, but I'm not that bored yet.
But it is about finding opportunities to engage in activity that gives your life purpose and meaning. It is about, if you need to, finding a mental health professional and offloading. It is about finding support networks and friends. We know that MPS societies are hugely important in maintaining people's quality of life and making people feel really good and okay about themselves. It's about living a valued life. That in one of the other talks we called A Rare Life Lived, but actually it's about living a valued life. What's valuable and important to you? What gives your life purpose and definition? What do you think is important? I know Jib's I think one of Jib's values is about making people laugh and entertaining people. And I think while you can do that, does that make you feel better, Jib?
Oh, definitely. One of the big things that I've struggled with during this period is just meeting people that I'm not contractually obliged to be polite to. Like, we do all this, and I'm fed up of watching myself on a screen.
Oh God, me too.
You get self-conscious. I've only just realized that I've got a massive gap between my front teeth, and I don't like it.
Well, it's a great time to get your braces on, because I've just been having mine done because I've got masks on every day at work. No one notices. It's a great time to do it. Do it for you.
Honestly, Stu, I've been doing improv online, and I've quite enjoyed it, because for 1 or 2 hours every week, I get to be someone who isn't me.
Yeah.
I get to pretend to be someone else and just have fun.
And that's really important. And right now we all feel restricted, perhaps, in the fun we can have and the way we can give our life meaning and shape. And we've just got to really be creative and think long and hard about what we can do to to find that richness, to build it back into our lives, to give us the opportunities that perhaps we're all missing out on a little bit. In the UK, things, for good or bad, are loosening up a little bit, and we're able to get out a little bit more. And so there's a little bit more shape and color to life. But, you know, just because you've got MPS doesn't mean you don't want to do the things everybody else wants to do. You don't want to go to restaurants, because you might feel a bit more anxious about doing it, and understandably so. But think about ways around it, and flexibility and opportunity are always there some way, but sometimes it takes a bit of hard work and thinking. However, if anyone can do it, I know it is the people in the MPS community, because you are resourceful and creative and passionate and interested and interesting. And you know what? It's been amazing as an older, now Mancunian, having an opportunity to meet all these people who just get on with it.
Yeah.
And it's not about being in denial, but it's about finding a way to still make life feel good. Build MPS into your life, but still find a way to make life good. So Jibril and I had this whole thing where he came to mind today, and he was going to be larking about in the background, but of course we weren't allowed to be in the same room because of noise, because I'd forgotten about that. But get out, do things, find ways around things, make your life rich. Sorry, I should stop talking.
Okay. Okay. We have a different message of congratulations for this symposium in the questions, but one is, for example, that with patient of MPS 4 is this the best solution, the bone marrow for these patients? What is your opinion?
I can't answer that. I'm not a medical doctor, so
yes, of course.
I can't really give an opinion.
But in the case of the Jibril, do you have this option in the past? Or
no, for me, bone marrow wasn't suggested, wasn't recommended. I only got onto ERT, enzyme replacement, with the clinical trial, so about 10 years ago now.
Yes.
Maybe a bit less. Like I said, I'm probably too old now for bone marrow or gene therapy. So I don't know what the answer is anymore. I like the idea of bone marrow because a lot of my friends don't like getting the cannula every week. But then again, I know one or two people who are quite happy to be cannulated every week. They just don't like the dressing.
And you know, bone marrow transplants, while they look great, they aren't neutral treatments. They're really hardcore treatments, and we support lots of families going through it. And you know, it's not like an easy alternative. It's really challenging. It's really tough on families, on people. So it has to be something thought about really carefully. But if the data's there and it looks great,
but it's normal that the families search solutions for the disease. And in this case, one option in the first moment was bone marrow transplantation, but now we had the opportunity of enzyme replacement therapy, and in the future, the gene therapy, that is a good option of the future. But it's normal with the families.
My advice is always find a great MPS center and get your treatment there with doctors who know what they're doing. And you know, as Jib said, you go to your doctor and sometimes he's Googling whether antibiotics cause your condition. Really? Or as you say in Spain, in serio? You know, that you go to a center where people know. Find Christina Lamper in Germany. Find the MPS Society in Switzerland, who are fabulous, or in Austria as well. Or in Sweden, and Veronica who've been emailing me about a Swedish meeting. You know, there are societies all over the place. Maybe not so much in Africa, but I'm sure there might be a South African one. Find a center with people who know what they're doing, who understand the options, and can support you and talk you through them.
Okay, I have a very good question here for Jibril. Where do you think it is convenient to focus in patients of same age of you?
I think it's dangerous to try and focus on a specific age, because at the end of the day, you have to deal with everyone. Research is great for the younger ones because it's a progressive condition. As if you get them young, the damage hasn't been done. I know
Okay.
kids on enzyme replacement who've had their second growth spurt just because they started at such a young age.
No.
I went into the trial thinking this probably isn't going to help me. I'm too old for this, but
Okay.
it's helped me in ways I didn't realize. So yeah, listen, deal with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
The youngsters, great for research, but don't discount us older guys, because we can give you ideas and we can find you solutions to problems that you never knew existed.
Okay. Is the end of the session. Thank you for your experience. We have another session. Next session is bye-bye. Okay. And next session, I would like to introduce Freddy. My colleague Freddy Alfred is explaining about the International Symposium of MPS and Related Disease in 2022 or 23. Okay, Freddy, when you would like.
Thank you, Jordi. Thanks for my predecessors, and I hope I'll be a little bit slower talking than Stuart, who brought the translators into hyperbole, I think. Nevertheless, Jib said the future is bright and life is good. And I hope that we'll bring that notion over in Switzerland in 2023. And I'm starting my presentation with this old and past slide. Well, you will see that it should switch to 23, and it doesn't switch right now. Just a second. I'll need a different view probably. Yeah, there we go. See, we have to change the date to 2023. And in these uncertain times and circumstances, we don't quite know what our schedule will be, but probably you'll have to miss out on these beautiful views of Lucerne and the Mount Pilot. And this lovely site is the KKL in Lucerne, where that should be the venue of it. However, we'll have a sort of a hybrid form similar to Barcelona now, mostly online. It'll be a campus theme, also similar to Barcelona. We intend to have discussion rounds live, but we don't know whether the situation will allow it. And the webinars should be real-time as well as on demand. And once again, we intend to have simultaneous translations into several languages, or if we have the talks in previously, we can subtitle them. At the moment, we have sort of a temporary topic for the symposium. We still will spend quite some time talking about the actual situation of patients, which means ERT, bone marrow transplantation, stem cells, whatever. At the same time, we want to emphasize the social challenges, the psychological problems that we have. So we want to help people. As Jibril said, it's not quite the same thing if you're talking to a 40-year-old person or a young child affected from MPS. And then as patients grow older, we have to show that there are nowadays adults around, which wasn't the case 20 years ago, because the average lifespan really has expanded in MPS patients. Then we want to show all the new upcoming therapies the plans and ideas, but we don't want to forget all the challenges. Getting older means different challenges. Challenges also become clearer as we know ever more about MPS and its effects. And lastly, all the efforts, the latest results of scientific research and so on should be presented. The organizing committee should be a collaboration of all European MPS organizations, mainly the German-speaking Germany, Austria, and Switzerland, which have shown here. The scientific committee will be under the auspices of the Swiss Group of Inborn Errors of Metabolism, and I've noted several names here as well. And then the Scientific Family and Children's Program will be very similar to Barcelona. Some of the ideas that we have is that we incorporate a little bit longer breaks. Some people need to have a coffee, and some patients need to take care of themselves, so they might need some breaks, and we want to allow that by giving you longer periods in between the sessions. Again, the daily program should start somewhere around 1 o'clock, go to 6 or 7 p.m. And again, we'll have a scientific and a family program. At the same time, the kids will have something to do, and then the usual breakout sessions. Once again, we probably need a registration, because otherwise it will be very hard to be able to look up the presentations later. And we plan for no fee if possible for patients and parents, and low fees as low as possible for pharma scientists and other related persons. Yeah, I should say Lucerne welcomes you in 2023 in the name of the German MPS Society, the Austrian MPS Society, and the Swiss MPS Society. Thank you so much, and hope to see you there in Lucerne. If there are any questions, feel free now.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Bisbauer. It was lovely to hear all of your wonderful words. And I would like to say, first of all, hello to the people here beside me. This is Anna and Jordi. And without them, this symposium that we've just had over the last 3 days would not have happened. So thank you so, so much, both of you and everybody involved. And I want to welcome you here to what has been our headquarters for the last 3 days. We have had the TV show for all of the children with MPS, and they, of course, are the protagonists of what we're doing here. And we have had 3 days of science and music and challenges and magic and videos and guests and cooking and stories and drawing. And it has been the most amazing 3 days, and it's been my honor to be part of it. So thank you as well for that. Also, for all of you that are out there, for the next 2 months, you can go online to the website, as I'm sure you've seen lots of places. You can go onto the website and you can watch the TV show as well as all the scientific content that we've made over the last 3 days together. And you have 2 more months to see it, watch it again, check the questions, download anything you want to see. And that is it from me, and it gives me my great honor to say hello to Anna and Jordi. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kira, for your presentation.
You're very welcome.
I appreciate so much you stay here with us.
Of course.
And thank you for all these days.
My pleasure.
Well, we are reaching the end of this symposium, and now it's time for the MPS Awards. As in every symposium that is held, 2 recognitions awards are always given. One on the medical field for the work and dedication of years to the MPS, and another recognition in the associated and family field for a life dedicated to MPS. This year, due to special circumstances, we would like to extend these awards. the MPS Awards in recognition of her professional career and dedication to MPS goes to Dr. Mercedes Pineda. Hey, hi, Pineda.
Well, thank you very much. Amazing. I never thought about it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I think it's always help people, help families, and try to give them quality of life by good children. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Merce. Thank you, Merce, for being a brilliant professional and a great reference all these years. Thank you for always being by our side, guiding us and advising us. And thank you very much for your involvement and all the work done as president of the medical committee during these last years. Thank you, Merce.
Well,
So much.
thank you. The next awards category is a recognition of gratitude of the MPS community who have actively collaborated these years in the organization of this symposium, and goes to the International MPS Committee. Carmen Kunkel for MPS Germany, Terry Klein for MPS USA, Bob Stevens from MPS UK, Alfred Westbauer from MPS Switzerland, Michaela Wales from MPS Austria, King Angel from Canada, Amira Abada for Vidas Raras Brazil, Eda Celabasso for Rare Connect Botswana, and Vanessa Ed Scott for MPS Australia. Thank you for all of them.
Thank you. Thank you, friends and colleagues, for helping us make this symposium a reality despite all the difficulties. Thank you.
We will send your awards by post to everybody. And for finish this, the last award is a special recognition of the commitment and dedication during the organization of the symposium, and goes to the local scientists committee. Doctora Fatima Bosch, Doctora María José Coy, Doctora Mariluz Couce, Doctora Montserrat Morales, Doctora Maro Callahan y la Doctora Mireia de Toro. Thank you.
Thank you, doctors, for your appreciated collaboration in this symposium and for always being at the side of MPS Spain.
Thank you very much for your collaboration. And now it's time for the farewell. And I would like to say some words to gratitude for all of you and their community, MPS community. After 3 intense days of conferences, we have reached the end of this symposium. A completely different symposium that the one we had imagined 5 years ago in 2016, when Barcelona was selected to host MPS 2020. We have come a long way here, a path marked by an exceptional global health emergency that forced us to make unexpected plans and cancellations. Postponing from 2020 to 21 was a mandatory decision due to the hard circumstances. But in that moment, we expected the situation will have changed in a year and the pandemic would be under control. Nothing further for the only feasible option to go ahead with this was to convert a whole symposium into a virtual format. and we did it. Research and knowledge can be stopped, and it's necessary to bring and share the latest news to the families. Barcelona 2020 couldn't be a blank page. It has not been easy to adapt and reorganize the event of these characteristics to the virtual format. But in the end, it has been a success thanks to the technology that allow us to connect from anywhere in the world. It's also been an opportunity for many people to attend this symposium without traveling abroad or have to pay for it. Technologies are very useful, essential today, but they will never replace human warmth. That part that we miss so much. We miss seeing each other, the hugs, the informal talks, sharing emotion and experience. In short, this kind of amazing things that happened always outside the conference rooms. I would have loved to see you in my city, in Barcelona. I would like to have been able to enjoy the charm that this city offers. The beaches, the gastronomy, culture, all the leisure activities we have planned. Well, Barcelona will always open for all of you, always open to another opportunity. The main thing is that the MPS community, MPS societies have to keep looking forward with hope, optimism, and resilience. We must keep working together and reinventing ourselves day by day, looking for new ways and ideas to bring support to our families and improve the quality of life for today and tomorrow for other people affected to MPS or related diseases. And on behalf of MPS Spain, Jordi and I, thanks to all the speakers for your participation. Thanks to the Scientists Committee and the International Committee for their work and involvement during all these years. Thank you to the sponsor for the financial support. And thanks to SAGRADA, the Technical Secretary, for a great work done. And thanks to all of you who have followed the symposium in streaming for around the world. I hope you have enjoyed this symposium. Thank you very much and see you in Lucerne. Muchas gracias a todos y espero veros en Lucerna, en Suiza. Thank you.